Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Tamashii Nation's Robot Spirits Gipsy Avenger. Yes, I have a robot figure that is not from Transformers. What? I mean, I reviewed the Voltron figure, but that was a gift for Alyssa. So this is my first actual robot figure of a non-Transformers character, and it's from the new Pacific Rim Uprising movie, and I like that movie, and that was good, and this toy is phenomenal. Let me just tell you right now, being only in Transformers, and having only collected Transformers, it is such a different thing to get a figure like this, and I'll explain what I mean in a bit, but before we get there, we gotta talk about the packaging. Get a better look at the box right here. It's a very, very nice box. Looks like a very bit of an import from Japan. As you can see, there is some Japanese text along the box. This is Gipsy Avenger side Jaeger. It is from Pacific Rim Uprising. Yeah, it's gonna be that way. Pacific Rim Uprising Robot Spirits right there. This is Gipsy Avenger. I'm curious if they're all gonna have those, if they're gonna have unique logos, or if it's just gonna be the same logo with a different name. You got like a 3D line artwork of Gipsy Avenger right there. You got Gipsy Avenger. The figure. It looks like this is a photo of the figure itself, a stock photo probably of the figure itself. 15 and up. Warning: choking hazard. Legendary Films. Tamashii Nations Bandai. On the side of the box, you got a picture of a robot. R number 228. I'm guessing that's for the whole Robot Spirits line, not just for the Pacific Rim stuff in general. Side Jaeger, Gipsy Avenger, Robot Spirits, Side Jaeger. On this side, Pacific Rim Uprising again. Gipsy Avenger along the side. The Pan-Pacific Defense Corps logo. Robot Spirits, Side Jaeger. On the back of the box, you got a lot of nice stock art, stock photography, artwork. That's really nice artwork. Includes chain sword and gravity sling of accessories, over 24 points of articulation, and a lot of Gipsy Avenger bio, it looks like, and then a lot of Japanese text alongside the GameStop sticker, which is where I got it from. And then on the bottom of the box, Side Jaeger, Gipsy Avenger, Pacific Rim Uprising, Robot Spirits, Side Jaeger. And that's pretty much it for the box, except for to note that it is a clamshell. It is a form of packaging I've never encountered before, and it's a beautiful thing, especially for the figure with all of its accessories. It literally, it's a clamshell, so you pull it apart, and then you tie it back in together, and basically because of how it's designed, the two plastic halves lock together, and that is beautiful. And I'm ranting on the box before I even get to the toy. So let's get on to the toy. And before we actually get to the toy, let's talk about the accessories that come with this toy. First of all, these pieces come separately in the box. They are boosters of a kind. I forget exactly what they're called. They're listed in the instructions on the box, but all you do for them is you just plug them on the back like so. Plug them on the back like so. It's just two posts that go into two holes for each side, so that locks in very securely. And then you got the completed Gipsy Avenger silhouette. Then you also include the gravity sling arm, which functions for the right arm. The chain sword left arm, which you can replace with the left arm, as well as two pairs of open palmed hands, which are very nicely detailed. I'll get into more of this later, but I just want to go over what accessories come with this figure before actually getting into this figure. I do have to do things a little differently because this is definitely not a Transformer. It is a robot. It is a very nice robot action figure, I must say. The painting and molding is wonderful. Look at those details going on there. Look at that, those abs, that chest again, and look at the logos on the side and the numbers, and this is just wonderful piece of work. So smooth and streamlined compared to robots that turn into cars and planes and all of that. It's just so much nicer taking closer looks at everything. You've got the head, which is in the pretty much the kind of dark blue kind of color, dark blue kind of gunmetal blue gray kind of color. I don't know what to call the color. It's kind of a bluish color, but it's a very dull blue, but it still looks very good. You got the nice head sculpt there. You got a nice yellow visor on there, and it's even reflective. Is that what I'm seeing, or is that something inside there? I think it's just reflective enough that like I'm seeing like shapes on there. Is that supposed to be? I don't know. Is that supposed to be like a molded in cockpit inside the face, and this is actually translucent yellow plastic? Because I don't know what it is, but that if that's the case, that's cool. I think it's maybe reflective. I cannot tell for the life of me. I think it's just reflective. Yeah, that's actually just the pure reflection. Anyway, enough with the eyes. You got a little bit of a brighter blue metallic paint on the mouth plate there, if you can even see the differences between that. As well as some tiny red stripes giving her, yes, her, because they are, most of the Jaegers, I believe, are referred to as female in the film. This one definitely is referred to as female in the film. Two red stripes giving her a little bit of a mohawky kind of a look, but it looks very nice. It's not like bright or anything. It's just like extra detail on the head. Coming down to her chest, you got the same base color for most of it, as well as this translucent orange section for her, that basically her power core, basically. She's kind of like an Iron Man, if you think about it. There's a little secondary one down there. Nice bit of silver paint over there. The nice red lines there and there, as well as the letters and numbers GN006, if I can focus on that. There we go, yeah, GN006, right there. And then all of this, if you didn't see it before, very nicely molded ab section right down there. Coming up to the arms, we got the shoulder pads, which are in the same base color. I think they may be a hair darker than everything else, though. That could also be the light throwing it off. Nice red paint there again, and a very, very, very tiny Pan-Pacific Defense Corps logo with the text underneath that on there. That's very nice. The arms, same thing, same base color, bit of red, picking out bits, a little bit of gray for the arms, and then the hands, the fists' hands are there, and they are very nicely molded. Coming into legs, base color again for the legs for the most part. Upper legs are definitely all that one color, though also you have 7385 written on them in the same direction on both of them. Lower legs, same base color, a little bit of gray right there, gray for the knee joint there, and then solid blue for the feet. And there's a lot of nice molar detailing on that gives kind of like a padded, that kind of like helps her stand, which is very nice, which is, again, very nice. And then coming to the back, again, clean, because doesn't have to turn into anything else, which is, geez Louise, a little bit of, looks like thrusters going on there, or vents of a kind on the back of those legs. Some nice exposed piston pipe kind of things going on there. And overall, very clean. And they're just these like things that are back boosters or thrusters and all of that. And time for some articulation going on with this figure, which there is a lot. So, first of all, the head can rotate a full 360 degrees. It gets a little unnatural when you're on the back side because of the ball joint being in the back of the head, but you can do that. Head can tilt up only that far. I can't really look up at all, unfortunately, but it does have a nice downward look, so you can get some nice down looks because she's supposed to be very, very tall and very, very massive. Unfortunately, it is unfortunate there's not a whole lot of up on that. But that is not all of her articulation with the various... Oh, she's also got a neck hinge that allows the neck to move a hair a bit forward, like it can sit back there. Or we can pull it up forward even a bit more. That's nice. Shoulders have 360-degree rotation. They are squeaky. They are very squeaky shoulders, but they do rotate a full 360 degrees. Arm is able to bend up at the ball joint right here, only that far, mostly because of these shoulder pads, which they are also a separate articulation point. They only bend up and down, basically for clearance. You can get a little side to side, just a little bit wiggle waggle, but they do kind of get in the way, but it also doesn't help with these boosters on. So if you do want a bit more range of articulation, you can throw the boosters off and you don't have to worry about the shoulder pads getting and bumping into anything. Though this again completes her silhouette, so she does have a little bit of kibble getting a little bit on the way, unfortunately. The arm can go very straight out if you pop the shoulder off. It's not hard to get the shoulder back on, but it is certainly annoying to do so, to say the least. And there it is. There, very simple fix. But continuing on with her articulation, she has bicep swivel, 360 degrees of rotation there. Double jointed elbow, one joint right there, another joint right there. Gives her very solid, not 180 degrees, but I'd say at least 145 degrees of elbow bend right there. And then the wrists are on a ball joint, so you can get them to wiggle 360 degree rotation there, up and down. Very nice wrist articulation there. There is no waist on this figure, however, but it has an ab joint, which allows her to bend her back that far back, and actually, let's do it this way: bend her bend that far backward and that far forward. So it's not a whole lot of range that way. However, because of how it is, you can, if you get the stuff or just move it in the right way, you can get it to rotate a full 360 degrees, and that can basically function as your waist joint. It is weird, it's not at the waist, but it works quite nicely as that joint. Hips are able to bend, legs, sorry, I'll get the arm out of the way. Legs able to bend that far forward and that far back. There, it does run into kibble things. However, because of how they work, how the legs is designed, there is this extra joint that allows the legs to extend past the main body, and you can get her legs to rotate a full 360 degrees in that direction. It's not a 360 degree thigh swivel, it's a 360 degree hip joint. That's crazy. And also allows for that far out movement in there and that far movement out there. It does cause her hips to sway, but you can just get her kind of sassy posing, like just a little like that. She's got a little hip shaking going on there. There is no proper thigh swivel because just these are too big. However, you do get some thigh swivel with the legs able to bend that far forward and that far back. So you get a very solid range of movement. And really, thigh swivels do give you more range of movement in the thighs than that kind of joint than you get in humans. So that's completely fine. You also have another double jointed knee, 90 degrees. Again, about 145 degrees. She's got a bit of, she's just beefy in the legs that, so you can't get it all the way up, but it is still a very, very nice. And then the feet, they can pivot that far forward, only that far back, which is basically her default pose. And then you get some nice side to side. A lot of articulation on this figure. I am a little bit surprised that with how much articulation there is on this figure, that there are certain points of articulation. Like the waist is fine not to have since you compensate with that ab joint. However, the feet feel kind of limited, surprisingly. Just you only get that much and that much. You don't get any back, and then the tilt is a little smaller. Like it definitely works, but I feel like it could have been a little more. But that's a minor complaint. This is still a lovely figure, especially since it's only for $20. And it comes with all the accessories that we haven't even talked about yet. Like, look at this posing. Like, I can do crazy things with it with barely even trying. Look at that. Look at that pose. Okay, I guess you don't like that pose, but look at that pose. You're just wonderful posing. Boom, boom, firepower kind of things. It's just This is so much fun to mess around with, I gotta say. But we do need to talk about the other accessories. Because let's start with the hands. These are separate hands, and to get them on, you are going to have to pop the hands off. They are just ball joints, so it's all friction, so you can pop them in and out. And you can plop a fist in. It definitely allows for iconic movie trailer, open hand into closed fist punch action right there. But I will just show both of them off on the hands just to show how they look. And there you go. Open hands. And they still have similar levels of articulation. They can do full 360. There's a bit of side to side there. They can go up and down a bit. You can't like get them to lay flat too much because you go too far, you're going to pop the ball joint out. So, and there is this wrist guard kind of thing, so they can only go that far and can only go down that far in terms of that bend. But it is still a very nice amount of bend. For the gravity sling, you're gonna pull the entire forearm off. There's this special plug that goes into the special hole in the forearm. And then there's the same kind of hole in the gravity sling. And then you are going to plug that in. You're gonna have to hear it click because the arms don't need the click. The weapon arms do need that click so as that they stay in place. I'll show you later, but you got the gravity sling going on right here. Get her quickly into a very solid gravity slinging pose, cannon firing pose, all that good stuff. That's a very nice pose right there. Very simple, quick pose. But again, take this arm off, put the chainsword on, again, click. That is now very solidly in place. Let us put a fist on that because there is a ball joint here for hands, since that's how that looks in the movie. So you can stick an hand appendage on there, and you got her rocking her weapons. She only deploys one of them at the time, so this is technically not accurate to the screen, but I'm just quickly showing things off for all you folks out there. And then we can ball joint. I guess the fist is coming off first. Definitely locks in securely when you get that click. That and that. And then putting these bad boys on. I'm putting that on the wrong hand. Oh, you do get the click. I've never heard it, or at the very least I haven't needed to hear it to make sure the arms are secure enough at the very least. They probably were a bit loose then, but they are very secure now. And let's just get her back into the default configuration as we get into some size comparisons, because that's all we have to talk about left of this figure before I get into my overall opinion of her. So yeah, size comparison time. It is a Legends class Bumblebee from Titan's Return. You can say Bumblebee's a bit, comes up to like right about there on Gipsy Avenger. You got Deluxe class Chrome Dome. And you can see, again, a little thin, a little straighter. He comes up to about the middle of the fusion core, fusion reactor in the chest. Voyager class Megatron. And he's just a hair taller than her at the head. So it's about Voyager size, since most of the people on here are probably Transformers people. About Voyager height figure, of course, not necessarily bulk because of kibble and stuff. We also have Leader Class 6 shot for that comparison. And as you can see, not quite to his wings, just a little bit above those round circly bits on his chest. You can actually bring them a little bit closer so you can see that. And of course, whoopsies, here she is with the channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack. And you can see how she looks next to them. Yeah. Overall, for someone like myself, this is a lot of fun. I am not used to having this range of posability in a figure, and it's still a figure that looks amazing. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderfully looking figure. It's a wonderfully posing figure. It's just so much fun to mess around with. The joints have not substantially, but are a little different between the different sides. I felt like the left arm has been a little tighter with the swapping of the limbs than the right arm has been. Also, the right hip is definitely a bit looser than the left one. This one's just kind of free flying, while this one can stay in place. It stays in place well enough, but that one hip could be a little tighter. Again, feet could have been a little more pivotable, and if you're used to brighter colors on your figures, this is a little more muted, especially compared to like my bright figures like right here. This looks like, whoops, sorry Soundwave. This looks a little dark. However, it is still very accurate to the screen. It looks very good regardless. It is all around a wonderful figure. It comes with a solid chunk of accessories, and again, it's $20. Everything else in the line is $30. Like, from my understanding, that sounds to be worth it. But if they were able to produce this specific figure at $20, I don't understand why everything else in the line was at $20. Like, the other ones are a bit beefier and don't like compare, but in comparison don't come with as many accessories, or they have a bit more to them. But like in terms of just overall mass of the figure, but this is so wonderful figure. Definitely solid recommendation if you're into either giant robots, highly articulated figures, or just Pacific Rim itself. This is definitely a recommendation. If you're not into those kinds of things, I don't know how to recommend it to you, but if you want to just test the waters, or have a very random assortment, this is a very good figure to have here in your random assortment collection. But that is all I have to say on Gipsy Avenger. Very solid recommendation, very good figure. But again, that is all I have to say. Sorry. That is all I have to say. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All of the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack's signing off.